So one thing you often hear filmmakers talk about when it comes to digital versus film stock filming is the grain. People love the grain that's on film, and where it comes from is the actual photochemical stock that film is. There's tiny little silver crystals inside the actual film, and that photochemical captures the light in totally unique ways that is unarguably, an analog, real emotional thing. The way the light is captured is very distinct, and it's currently impossible to 100% replicate with digital. But what we can do with digital is film, like we normally would, shoot our movie with a digital camera, and then in post production, we can add a simulated grain like we see here on the top image. If you look at all three images individually and kind of compare them together, you'll see that the digital actually does a really good job of the digital grain, added in post, does a really good job of simulating that feeling that we get from the film capture. That is currently the best that we can do with the technology that we have, other than shooting on actual film. But we are able to simulate that technology. And then the argument is, well, if you're simulating that, that feel of film, why wouldn't you just shoot on film in the first place? And as we talked about in some of the other slides, there's cost implications, there's workflow implications. There's just all kinds of other things that add into not only the cost but the management of the process. I do highly recommend that if you ever get the chance, you do film on at least a 16 millimeter camera or an 8 millimeter camera, so you get the idea of working with film. But I think that when you get out into the real world of film production, you're going to find more and more productions shying away from it, simply because of the cost and the management structure of shooting on film. That's not to say that some major motion picture directors, producers don't still work on film. There's some that absolutely swear by it. Christopher Nolan just did Tenant, I believe it was, on film. Spike Lee did a mix of a film recently on both digital and film. And then, of course, Quentin Tarantino absolutely thinks that digital is the death of cinema. So you can read up on that in some of the other links that I provided. But take a look closely at these three slides and see if you can figure out the difference in the grain between the 35 millimeter film, just the digital shot there on the Alexa in the middle, and then the grain, the simulated grain, and the top one added in post. And I hope you find this slide helpful.